you tell everybody your name, so I'll make sure I write it down so I get it. Tell everybody your name.
I'm Bethany.
I'm Paula.
Sandy.
David.
William.
Daniel.
Anna.
Anna. And me and Anna and Danny run together all the time. So, but I appreciate y'all coming. Do all of you stay in the city or?
We don't.
Okay. County? County.
City.
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 Two lots.
City.
Okay, city. All right, so good. My objective was to try to have it where anybody in the city, inside, outside the city, county people, because like I said, I live in the county, and when I'm moving into the city, so that I can run for mayor, and so that we can try to make a difference and change things for the better. Most people aren't willing to come into the city and buy a house so they can change things. So I'm willing to do that, but that's why I ask people outside the city limits to come in also, because we want your opinion, just like I want my opinion and my ideas, and I have a lot of ideas, and but what can we do with your ideas and use your voice so I can become your voice. Even though you live in this county, you still come inside the city limits all the time and shop, and this is your home, just like I've never lived in the city, but I will now, but this is still my town. And just like shirts that I passed out, this is my town, this is your town, the shirts on now, this is my town. That's why I want everybody to have that attitude and change that attitude. Be proud of your town, because we have a beautiful town. And if you go to other places, a lot of towns are growing and making changes. And we've watched that. Everybody's watched that. But I think that we can make those changes here also. And when I look back, I don't want to blame this city council. I don't want to blame the past city council. I'm not here to whine and gripe about anybody about what they're doing and what they're not doing. But to me, when I look back, there's buildings that have been sitting here for 30 and 40 years and nothing has changed, but continuously go down, or our town goes down. When I know that there's things that we could do to make it better, I think somebody has to step up. So that's what my job is, to try to step up. I'm not a politician. I'm not a businessman. I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian since I was 6 years old. And so, when I say I'm not a businessman, I own 11 businesses. So I do have a vision that to do more than just stay in one spot. Staying in one spot is good for some people. Not even owning a business for some people is a good thing. Some people would rather go to work at 10 o'clock and they'd come home. Everybody has a different thing they like to do. But ever since I've been young, my vision's always been to constantly, I can do more, I can do this, I can do that, try to make things grow. And but at the same time, I've learned over the years, I used to have the attitude that it was, I didn't need you to move out the way, I'll do it. But I've kind of learned to grow. I can't do it all now. So, just like with the gyms, I can't run every gym, so I have to have good support. And so to make the town change, I have to have the support of a lot of people. And I need the support of the whole town. I need the town to have the attitude that we're going to make this better. So from my point of view is I would like to see things change from every individual, even in the county, in the city, starting with their house, their street, making things better. When I clean and cut the grass down by the gym, for example, my mother's passed away in May. She would always fuss at me because the building in front wasn't mine at that time, and she would say, "Why are you cleaning that restaurant up there for? Why are you picking up my City Trends up for? Well, that's their trash, Well, my trash, because it makes me look bad." And so I don't try to stay inside the box. I cut the grass and the sidewalk all the way down to the 151 bypass, because when people drive through, if that looks bad, that makes me look bad. And so that's the idea that I want other people to have, is that if everybody had that thoughts and ideas that I could go and not just clean my property, but maybe I could go over and clean his property just a little bit, help him out. And he'd come over and clean my property and help me out a little bit. And that street belongs to the city out there, but that grass out front belongs to the city. And it's only that wide, why can't I cut that little bit of grass? It's the city's responsibility. Well, it's not mine, but it is yours. It makes you look bad, so go out there and cut that little strip of grass, And there's a lot of businesses that won't do that. You ride by, and if I try to take, there's a place in Florence, I'm not going to name it. There's a place in Florence where I used to have a gym at. There's a big business here and a big business here, and they've merged together, but there's like one little section of grass or so there just irritates me. Me and Danny both are kind of, little things bother us. There's little specks of grass there, why don't anybody cut their grass? But if somebody was to try to take that piece of property from them, they'd be fighting over whose piece of property it was. You know, out on the bypass, you know, there's businesses out there that they keep their business really clean, and my friend Steve cuts their grass for them, does a wonderful job, and then the big ditch across from it looks awful. And so to me, when you drive by, it makes the business look bad because somebody's not taking care of that ditch. You know, I would pay to take care of that ditch because it makes my place look bad. So that's kind of the thought that I would like to see the citizens have, is us all stepping together. We're not gonna get everybody to do everything, but if we can get everybody to wake up, and jump in and help a little bit more, it would start the fire, okay? There are only 18% of the population that have voted. Everybody tells me, oh, you gotta really learn how to use the voting where the people that the absentee vote. I went to the registering place over here to register, not register for voting and all. They said you got all elections are won by absentee votes. Well, that's great. Can you tell me only 18% of the people voted? What about the other 18%? Okay, so what I want to see is this group grow so that when it comes closer to time, we can go and start waking everybody up, and they'll think there's a presidential election in Darlington. So they'll know what's going on. And I already see that wherever we go, people already talk about it, and for no more than we've really already done. To be almost 2 years out in advance, we've gotten a lot of attention. So I have a lot of ideas on things that can be done in the town, and to me, the town is not the square. Because I own a gym out there that's in the city limits. I pay city taxes and everything out there, and a lot of times we feel like that we're lost out there. And I'm sure other places feel the same way, is that the city needs to be known to be grown from one end to the other, and not your side of town and my side of town, and so it's everybody's side of town. So that's kind of my ideas to start with. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas on how to try to make the businesses grow, because I am more business oriented. What can we do to bring more stuff downtown that will cause more people to come into our town, which will cause more growth for our schools and more growth for income, so when we get a city council, they aren't looking and going, well, how much money we got? Where's this coming from? How am I gonna pay for that? Where do I need to borrow the money for this? That shouldn't be going on. There shouldn't be a question about money. So again, can I change it all? I don't know, but I'll tell people, if somebody's blocking it, I'm gonna be the first to tell you who's blocking something. And I've already seen a lot of things that are being blocked that shouldn't be blocked. It should be open doors. And it's on videotape, and I'll say it straight out front. For Genesis Healthcare, shouldn't be blocked. Genesis Healthcare, we talked with T.C. Sawyer. I call his name. I done told him it's going to be said. Dr. Matthews Foundation has millions of dollars that are willing to be dumped into this city. That was Dr. Matthews' goal. Most people don't even know about that. I just recently learned about that. And so they're willing to do a lot of things, but yet a lot of places are trying to block stuff that they're doing. The city's trying to block all the stuff they're doing. And to me, the way I see things is 18% of the people put 7 people up there to control our town. You don't live in the city, but I don't live in the city right now, but this is still our town. They're controlling and changing what's happening in this town. And if out of those 7 people, if 4 people are on one side to go the opposite direction from which the town should go, then you've got 4 people controlling the whole town. And so, you're never gonna make everybody happy. Some people don't want Genesis Healthcare to grow. I don't see a problem with Genesis Healthcare growing. It's a business, and to me, in America, I own this piece of property that we're sitting on right now, and if I want to put a sewer farm here and it smells up the whole city, I could understand saying not to smell up the whole city, okay? But if I'm trying to make my business grow and I'm doing it a proper way and I go through the proper channels to make sure it's safe, I don't think there's anybody that can tell me that I should be able to make my building a little bit taller or a little bit bigger and add more jobs to make this property a little better. And that's what they're trying to do. And they've been there for 47 years. And they're producing good income. People have jobs there. They're trying to make their section better. And that same company is putting into the Matthews Foundation, which is willing to buy buildings inside the city limits and do the same thing that Darla Moore is doing. The last 3 city council meetings I've been, and I'm on video, okay? I'm pulling punches. The last 3, not city council meetings, the last 3 downtown revitalization bill meetings I've been to, which are only 3 I've been to, when I just joined. Just was asked to go on. They all, not they all, some of them on that board, a few, say there's nobody here to support us, and there are people here to support us. We don't have Dartmore, we don't have Sunoco, we don't have the Bruce Lee Foundation, but we do. We have just one that I found out is the Methodist Foundation is somebody's willing to open up and give you millions of dollars and work with you to put more stuff in here, then why is it being blocked? And so they should be open doors. The city should be coming to them. The city should be coming, and as I told them on city council meeting when I announced I was going to run for mayor, that to this day nobody has come into this facility but Lisa Rock and Brian Gardner since I've opened up and try to clean this corner up. And I'm just a one single man that comes out here and pulls grass and cuts weeds in the middle of the night, blows parking lot in the middle of the night to try to keep the place cleaned up with my crew that I have to make things look better. The man right down the street here, I was just asked the other day, well, what is he putting in that? Where Bank of America is. Well, I don't have even gone there to even invite him to come in and say, hey, how are you doing? Glad to have you. And so to me, that's what needs to be done. We've got to beat the streets and talk to people and see what it is, let them know what's going on, and invite people that are willing to help us, like Genesis Healthcare and the Matthews Foundation. Invite someone in like that is willing to help us make changes in town to grow. My thoughts are, and as I talked with T.C. Sawyer the other day, is you got the movie theater, you've got the double square up here where she was talking about putting, Miss Flowers was talking about putting the bakery. That if you start out by just buying a few things like that, go through and renovate that movie theater and make it a movie theater again. Okay, it is only one theater, but this is my thoughts. Is that if we at least started that and build it correctly and build a nice theater there, and you have three or four different time showings, then you could accommodate kids, adults, everything else, and you got something that's going to bring a few hundred people downtown to a movie theater, to go to Calcutt's restaurant, to the Jules restaurant, to the Todd's restaurant, to the Taki's restaurant, to the Joe's restaurant, all the different restaurants around town. They'll go down there and then they'll start coming to the restaurants. You got to go over and make this bakery into a nice bakery and candy store or something and really do it right. Then you got something that's going to start bringing people downtown. The J.C.'s Daniels building, we're going to be in Dancing with the Stars, but we're having to go to Darlington Dancing with the Stars, but we're going to Hartsville to do that, which is in Darlington County. That's wonderful. But we've got a big J.C. Daniels building that's just sitting there. They've already put money in, and they didn't finish. Me, from my point of view, and y'all tell me different if you seem different, but to me, I don't see where anybody in the last 40 years where they put a lot of money into something that they finish it. It's all started, and they stopped because they don't have enough money. I started this. They started the old library. Much of money dumped into that, and then they still got all the stuff over here in the historical building that really should be over there. And there's a lot of nice stuff in the historical building that should be over the library to make it visible for people to come into town to see. So right now they're fixing to spend millions of dollars on sewer, which they're borrowing money to finish that. I don't agree with that. They didn't have enough money to do that. They're going to borrow money for that, put us more in debt on that. They're going to build ball fields. The ball fields to me is wonderful, but where they're putting the ball fields at, they have no growth. They still have no vision of, once they get it, this is all they've got, and then they still don't have enough money to really make it like it should be made. So to me, is if you're going to do something, let's do it and make an impact so that all the other towns and all the other people will want to come here. Is my vision. If I'm going to do it right where people will come, and so otherwise it's just not doing it. But I'll talk all day, so I won't talk that much, so I'm sorry. I'll just keep going. So y'all kind of give me some ideas what y'all think, and again, I'm not here, I don't want people whining and complain about any particular person or name. Just what are the things that you think that should be done or could be done?
I think with Genesis Healthcare that the main problem was that Genesis Healthcare ignored the city ordinance about building up to the sidewalk. And the people in that neighborhood trusted our.
One thing about because me and you've talked, and you had told me that you didn't think they had a sprinkler system and so forth.
Well, they didn't to begin with. They had to go back in and be told to do it.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I mean, every business It's, you know, as a business person, you don't want to have to spend more money than you have to be. And they've done, I'm sure they've done what they've been told to do. And so if they've been told to do that, and there is a sprinkler system there, there's a lot of things, and so we have told Genesis Healthcare, they need to let everybody know in a positive way what they're doing for the community.
But I think
They
if
need to
the
do
people
more of
that live in that neighborhood trusted the city to monitor them when they built the addition, and the city didn't, and they built up to the sidewalk, and it's not safe. If you walk down that sidewalk, their employees come out those back doors every day to smoke cigarettes. They throw that door open, and if you're walking down the sidewalk, you just got a face full of doors. So I think that, and of course, I don't live in that neighborhood, but I think that the problem now is that the people in that neighborhood do not trust the current city government to monitor that. So they think that since we didn't do that right, what makes you think that they're gonna make Genesis Healthcare abide on this new addition? So, I mean, I think they're scared because they saw
So
the
city
failure.
ordinance- My understanding is the city ordinance allows you to build to the sidewalk. Now,
No, they're commercial, they're three parts, is what was,
the commercial part allows you to build to the sidewalk.
Yeah, but
Why-
but they're
why
not
it
commercial.
allows you to build to the sidewalk, I don't know.
they're not all the way commercial. That's what the
Right,
lady
they
explained
want
to us.
build on is not commercial, they're trying to get it turned commercial, but I'm saying the building they built on right now is commercial. And the commercial law allows you to build to the sidewalk. I don't agree with that.
Well, it's ugly.
Because I run to the sidewalk and I run down the sidewalks too, and I wouldn't want to run down that sidewalk either because it doesn't make any sense. Like I said, you open the door and you get slapped in the door, you know, with a door and walking down the sidewalk. So why anybody did that or allowed that, I don't know, and that shouldn't be allowed. But I think that they said, I think everything should be built safely, and I think everything should be built in the correct form. But again, all the rules and regulations of what city ordinances and all allow, a lot of those are not correct, I'm sure. You know? And if is it just this city that allows you to build to the sidewalk? I don't know. But I know Alex had told me that, you know, the city, however it is, when they go to build inside the city limits, they're allowed to build to the sidewalk.
And those are fire doors. They're supposed to be fire doors. The residents were told they were fire doors, and nobody uses them in case of a fire, but every single day, their employees are standing out back smoking cigarettes. There's videos of it, there's pictures of it, there's everything. And I think that the people in the neighborhood are just concerned that our city does not enforce the rules. It's not Genesis Healthcare, it's the city. They're upset with the city for not enforcing rules and allowing businesses to do what they want. And if I was a business and I was allowed to, I'd do it too.
Right.
You know, but I think that, you know, if the city stepped in and said that we will monitor this, we will make sure that your historical history that you put hundreds of thousands of dollars into your home does not look like an industrial district.
Right.
And I think if the city would just talk to these people and help them stay informed
Right.
every way of the process, I don't think they would have a problem with it.
Right.
But they don't. They're ignored, and they're allowed to do things that aren't right.
Right.
But I think, you know, maybe that's something that you could do in the future is if something's going on in the neighborhood, maybe make a weekly announcement or a monthly announcement and keep the people in the neighborhood informed, and that way they don't feel like they're just left out and ignored.
Right.
So I think that would go a long way to helping Genesis Healthcare to grow, because I'd love to see them grow too.
That's like we told TC and Howard Nettles, you know, they need to make sure that they are making this positive impact to everybody, let them know what their goals are to try to do, just like you said, that there was rumor that they were put an emergency room there. There was no plans to put an emergency room there, they said.
I think they said they were gonna put an urgent care is what they said in that meeting.
I talked to three people, and they said there was no emergency room there.
Well, not an emergency room, urgent care, there's a difference. But I could have swore that they said that was one of the ideas was to put urgent care, which is awesome. Urgent cares are a wonderful asset to our community. They keep people from having to go all the way to Florence, and they keep people from tying up our emergency room. So if they're gonna do that, that would be great. And it's just like a little doctor's clinic. It's not a real emergency room.
But, you know, the building down there is not gonna decrease their property values. It should only increase their property value. I mean, the things in Darlington right now are already a third of the price of what I pay in other locations, in Florence and Hartsville, Lake City, all those, Minnesville, everything's this is a third of what I have to pay here to buy this building, my rents, everything. Comes out a third of what it is in other locations. So, everything needs, to me, there needs to be more business here so that it will increase the property value. And, so to me, if you got somebody that's willing to come in, it needs to be done correctly. It needs to be done by the rules. If the rules aren't correct, then let's change rules. And, ordinances can be changed.
And I think that kind of
If the ordinance says it's
attitude.
built on the sidewalk, built to the sidewalk, and then ask them to step it back.
Well, I think that kind of attitude probably would have gone a lot further with the residents in that community than what they probably currently get now.
Right.
Just stay informed.
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
I think you've noticed we have some division in our city council. What are you gonna do to make it a more cohesive and complementary environment?
Well, my goal is to make sure that everybody's on the same page, that there is no division, whether you're a race, whether you're male or female. Is to, number one, is to try, everything I try to do, I try to put God first in everything I do. Put that on my words, on my signs, and I'll take that right into the city council with me. Everything I do is not perfect, by no means. People, they are people, they're gonna be judgmental toward each other and have division with each other. But my goal will be the whole time to make sure that they work together and that there is no sides. It's not your side, my side of town, your race, my race. We're all together, okay? And no matter what color you are, whether you're male or female, this is your town, and we're all impacted by that. And we're here to help each other.
I have a question. As it would be building a beautiful house on a very poor foundation, our town has a very poor foundation when it comes to our infrastructure as far as streets and sanitation, sewer and water. We are not consistent with our machinery. One week you get your trash dumped, one week it's the next day. Sometimes they come pick up your yard debris, sometimes the cherry picker truck's broken. What would you do to help, I guess, tear it all down and start from the bottom and rebuild it up?
Also, even, like I was talking about, I want to go with everybody's attitudes here. As they said in one of the city council meetings, you heard it, the camaraderie, the feel that they have inside their workforce. I'm not there to see how they feel. I'm going by what I heard at one of the city council meetings. That they don't have the attitude of wanting to go in there to work, being proud of what they offer and what they have. I know that the city, for example, where Danny worked at, the city hall, when I walk into that building, it's not been painted, it's not been any really thing done to that for years that I can tell. I've gone in and out of there for years. There may be some things done to it. It's not the employee's fault. I don't know whose fault it is. But you've got to give your workforce a place to feel like they're proud of. And to me is that the same with what I was talking about with the city. Every one of us need to feel proud of our city, and we all feel like, well, it's not doing what it should do. We all need to work in together and make this better. It's not one person's responsibility. One person can't do it. The preacher's not the one that can save the whole church, okay? It's the whole congregation that has to work to make that church strong. So when you go into the workforce, is that things aren't working a lot of times because, number one, they get up and they say, well, we have 3 people to cut the grass. That ain't enough people, okay? Those guys are working to death. The guys with the trash, how many people are taking up trash? What machinery are they working with? And so it's management of what is there. And so to me, is everything has to be dissected and looked at to see where are we making mistakes, where are we throwing money away, where can we put things back better to spend where we don't have just, I don't know, I'm just using an illustration. Do we have 1 trash truck? Do we have 2 trash trucks? Do we have, so if there's only 1 trash truck and there's only 2 guys that are doing all the work, sometimes one of those will be out, something's going to break. There needs to be more backup. Is to look at everything to see how it's working. I don't really know what's going on inside with the trash. I don't know what's going on with the street sanitation. Is to learn all that and find out, management-wise, is everybody doing their job? Are they proud of doing their job? Are they happy to come to work and make sure that they're being taken care of? Are they being patted on the back and rewarded when they come to work? Or are they being ridiculed when they come to work? How do they feel? You want them to come to work and take pride in what they've got. And we're not going to walk in there and buy all 6 new trash trucks the first time they walk in the door. So is is what you've got, can you take care of it, make sure it's working, and make sure that the customers are happy? And the customers are us, we're the customers, she's the customer. So the city is working for all of us. And so they have to have that pride in their job. And so it's to go in and dissect each department to make sure each manager of each department is doing their job and actually start from the ground up and rebuild it.
I think the lack of equipment is, I mean, the people come to work, they just do not have anything to work with. So
Exactly.
that's very, it's hard for them to work. But one thing that I've noticed that I've never seen in our city council, of course, I don't go to their budget sessions either, is I've never seen a 10-year plan to replace the current trash truck. I mean, what are we gonna do 10 years down the road? You know, when I worked up with the state, we always had a 10-year plan. We had a 10-year plan to replace a generator. We had a 10-year plan to replace a hammer. Everything was in that plan, and I've just never seen anything like that come out of city council as far as what we're gonna do 5 years down the road when our trash truck is broken and it can't be repaired anymore.
Right, I agree with that. Just like there were, you know, Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, did you have any money in your budget to buy cars or police stuff?
No, we had to, well, actually, recently we got some, but most of the time that we did it through grants and things like that. And we were able to, you know, over a period of time, find a way to manage it. But what it took was the department heads saying, okay, you've got to figure out a way to make it work. And that's what we had to do. You know, when I first took over as chief, we had about $200,000 worth of cars that we owed on. And we had a bunch of old cars, and I had to do a lot of finagling and a lot of begging and borrowing to get our fleet to where it needed to be. And finally, we got to the point of where they agreed to, I think after 5 years, almost 6 years as chief, to get money put into the budget for that specifically. But, you know, it is what it is. You can't get blood from a turnip. If you don't have the money to do it, you can't do it. So, you know, as a department head, you have to constantly be looking for ways to make things better. And we did that through grants. But you can't fund a city on grants. You can't do that. I mean, eventually the grants are going to run out. And I've been sitting here waiting this whole time to say this, so I'm going to say it. I know you guys know what a boom town is. And in Oklahoma, where I'm from, there were boom towns during times when oil had high prices and really disproportionately for the amount of raw materials or whatever, as far as how long it was going to last. But when that ran out, what was left to sustain the town? Nothing. So the town went away. And you know, there's empty towns all over the West and in the Midwest that when whatever it was they were working on at that particular time went away, they went away. And the cities that have continued to progress and continue to do well are those who are constantly innovating and constantly finding ways to bring people to their town. We have 6,357 people here in the city of Darlington as of last census. And it shrank every time they've done the census. We've got to bring people back to Darlington if we want to sustain it. Otherwise, eventually, we're just going to drop and blow away. It's going to be an empty shell. And I can't remember exactly the number of businesses that we've looked at that are empty, but I mean, there's a lot of good real estate here that could be used to do a lot of good different things. Don't give me that the people of Darlington won't support it. Walmart out there is full every day. Every day. If you build it, they will come.
That's right.
And, you know, that's what we've got to do is concentrate on how to make things better. And, you know, services is an important part of that. You know, having good services for the folks that do come here. Good water, good streets, good schools. All those things are very important. But, you know, we of course, are going to have to work with what we have, but you got to work. That's the point. And push toward it and work together. You know, if you have 5 people pulling in the same direction, that's great. If you have 5 people pulling 5 different directions, you're not going to ever get anywhere. So, you know, it is important to get on the same sheet of music and have a plan, a clear, mapped out plan, a direction that you're going. And if you can do that, that's great. Probably didn't need all that, but I threw it out there.
But I mean, that's what
Oh,
we've got to have. We've got to have and that's what we aren't seeing, the vision, the plan. You know, Mr. Watts, Tony Watkins, said at the last meeting that I was at, that we used to have a plan, you know, as far as what we're gonna do. I haven't seen the plan, you know, but it's, you know, it's fine to have a plan. It's fine to say, I'm gonna lose weight, and this is my goal. I'm gonna exercise and run every day and so forth, but then if you don't do it, then you don't lose the weight. And so it's fine to say, you know, to have a plan here, but that plan has to be activated and enforced and stay focused on. And so it's the same with trying to raise money for, you know, the police department, for the fire department, so that everybody has money coming into the trash department, you know, that each section has money coming in, and if there's not a lot of money coming in, then they don't buy things. They're all trying to figure out grants, to figure out how to write grants to get more money coming in, and like you said, we can't base it off of that. Any extra money we can get in off of grants are great, but the city's got to figure out some way that we can generate more funds into the city, so that we'll have more money to go buy trash trucks. We can renovate more buildings. The fire department, I hear them, they want a new fire department, they need a new office, everybody needs to do this, and it's not being done, and they need help. And so the people inside the city are coming to work, love their job, but they need that extra help and that incentive to make our town better. And so they need the proper tools to work with.
And I know that you have no right to our city budget right now because you're not mayor. But if that is what God's plan is for you, I think that if you were to come out in a couple of months after becoming mayor and tell our town, this is what our plan is. Our plan is to hire another police officer in 10 years. Our plan is to, within this 10-year plan, to get a new trash truck. And our plan is to do this. Now, that's where our plan is. We might have to make 4 right-hand turns and a U-turn to get there, but that is what our goal is. And I think that if you were to open that up to the public and let us see what the end result will be, I think that a lot more citizens would have a lot more trust in their city government.
Okay. That's our goal, is to show what our vision is and our plans are.
I think to do that, though, you have to have consistent consensus and definitely a lack of bickering.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's you know, that's not anything that's unusual from here to the halls of Congress or whatever. I mean, in all government, you're going to have that. But I do think that, you know, there are several things that all people can get on board with. Say, this is better for everybody. We should do this. And, you know, look for areas that you can all agree upon and work on that first. And then the finer details, you do that you bicker behind closed doors.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that there might be 4 things, 5 things that you could get together on, everybody could agree on. Hey, everybody needs better streets. Everybody needs better water quality. Everybody wants better fire service. Everybody wants better police service. I mean, things that you could work on, 5 or 6 things, say, hey, well, this is what we're going to work on. And we're going to work together on getting it done. And that's, to me, is the most important thing. And just, you know, of course, being open.
We need everybody. To me, I look at it like a church. A lot of people say, well, the preacher's not doing this, the preacher's not doing that, and the preacher should do this, the preacher should do that. But the body is what? It's the church. And we are the city. Okay? And so if you want the city to do something, you live in the city, you are the city. That means you should be doing something about it. It's not just the mayor's fault. It's not just the city council's fault. It's not anybody's fault. Let's figure out why it's not working. Let's get in there and look at everything clearly and plan a clear plan out to make our vision work. What is it? What is our vision? I don't see a vision for the city of Darlington. My vision for the city of Darlington is to see more businesses opening up downtown so that we can have more money coming into the city so that we can buy another trash truck. I don't have to ride down the road and be irritated coming down Cacacia Street. If somebody else won't pave it, then we've got enough money to go pave it, okay? Not worry about somebody else take care of our own town. But that's not my street, that's not my sidewalk, fix it, okay? So that's what I'm looking at, is what can we do to generate and change the view and bring more people into the city? Something to say? Just
just
be quiet.
listening.
What's your thoughts? Any thoughts?
Well, you know, I don't live in the city, and we lived in the county all our life and
Right.
everything. But way back with Polly and everything, way back in the fifties and sixties, this town was booming.
Right.
You went uptown, you'd meet everybody walking the streets, they were shopping and they were doing everything. You had people from Florence and Hartsville coming to the door. Then we had Labor Day weekend and you had everybody and you had stores open all night long, that'd be here, and the town was booming and making money.
Right.
And now it's like Danny was saying a while ago, the money came in, but it never went out into the city, never went out into the buildings, never went out and did anything. It's like it's just people left and it's died. Now we don't have nothing up here. I have to go to Florence or either Walmart. But before Walmart came, you'd have to go to Florence or Hartsville to do anything you wanted to do. And eating, we got Takis at nighttime, Joe's don't want to open at nighttime, we got Mexican place at nighttime, but we ain't limited in that. We're not even bringing no place in. Now with the theater, that would be great, we got something for the kids, adults, and different other things that can bring them in. But if we ain't got nothing else to offer,
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that, my vision is to sit down and look at the city, look at the empty buildings. That's what I told TC the other day, is you got, what's his name, this fixing to open another little restaurant up over there, Calco. He ready to open up another restaurant, okay? Find some other building. What is it that you think that we need? Okay, do we need a bookstore? Do we need another restaurant in town? Do we need this? What would this building be good for? And plan it out. Get those buildings, renovate those buildings, okay? Everybody says, well, you know, for you to have a theater, you need to have somewhere for them to go eat, okay? Well, the theater is just one thing that would start, okay? The J.C. Daniels building is a major thing, a lot of money compared to the small theater that you could have, that would have to, again, it doesn't need to be done halfway, it needs to be done right.
Right.
It needs to be the right person to come in and manage that, to bring more people into that, okay? And if, again, they aren't gonna come to that if there's nowhere else for them to go when they go to leave, what are they gonna do? There needs to be more things, but you gotta start, to me, you gotta at least start small and try to start building out on it, but when you start small, you wouldn't have a vision of what it is that we want to plan out and do.
that would spread out.
And, you know, we've been told, well, people won't support it, and we don't have the money to do it. Well, there's money out there to do it. But again, we gotta get those people on our side, be willing to help us to do it. And so, just to start making small changes and have a vision of what it is, okay? Just like I've talked about McAdenville. McAdenville has 600,000 people a month come through their little town for Christmas lights, okay? Well, we're known as the race town, to me, that's 53 years, that's all we're known for, is race town. And that's wonderful, the race track, my daddy paved that racetrack, I love it. It's great to be known as a racetrack. That's 1 month out of the year now. Well, how about the other 11 months? Can we be known for other things? Can we be known as a Christmas town too, to where during Christmas, through the whole month of Christmas, can we bring 600,000 people into our town? And when they come into our town, what are they coming for? So therefore, we gotta have something for them to stop at, so that they do spend money, that money comes back into the town. They don't just drive through and see the lights and that's it. So I would think that if I drive all the way to McCannville, I'm gonna buy gas, I'm gonna stop and get something to eat, I'm gonna do something. And so can we do things like that? Being a Christmas town, that's my idea. That might not be a great idea. You may have a better idea. That's why I'm asking people, what are your ideas? What can we do the other 11 to 10 months of the year?
Well, like my nephew, and you know, Lee Andrews, he's got a dream of a big complex for a ball field.
Right.
And he's seen it work in Hartsville. I mean, he's seen it in Columbia because of his daughters playing travel ball. He's been to Atlanta. He's seen what kind of people, you know, it brings tournament, it brings teams, it brings a lot of people in.
Right.
But yet, he's always like you know, you gotta do half here or half here.
Right.
You can't do a complex that way.
Right.
It will not work.
And where
I mean, it's a failure
Where
to
they're talking
start
about
with
putting
if
the
you gotta
complex
do it.
now, to me, is not the right place. I don't see any growth there. They've got enough to do kind of what they're planning on doing, but then, again, they're stuck.
Yeah.
Right there, and there's, to me, there's hardly any room to
They're not.
To be much bigger than what you've got out there, you're just, maybe you're building a house, we're living in an 1,100 square foot house, and we're gonna build a 1,250 square foot house.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, we've got a lot of extra room,
Right.
you know, you have
You
3 more
don't.
kids, all right, you're not gonna have enough room 2 more years down the road. So they said, if you got enough money to build a complex this size, it's fine, but then go at least have enough area to make it larger. I know, I understand they say that we're limited on where we can get the land at, but again, I don't agree with putting part of softball here and baseball here, because
No.
if you've got a daughter and I got a son, and one's playing softball, one's playing baseball, and they're both, one's 11, one's 12, or they're twins, and,
Well, that's our
the family
situation
split,
with our
the family
grandkids.
split, it should be and when you do it, it should be a nice complex that will bring people in from
Mhm.
outside. And so, yeah, a sports complex is definitely a great place.
Yeah.
Florence has put one in, and they're going full force with it.
Mhm.
That's gonna be a big competitor to try to compete with them, but it can be done, to where you've got something like that. So, there are things like that need to be done, but we need a larger vision to
Mhm.
see for sure, not just go buy a piece of property
Right.
and do it. And so
Well, see, I have owned a business in town. My mother started it, it's still there. What I wanna see is that when businesses want to come to Darlington, want to come and invest in Darlington, that the city gives them the knowledge, the rights, the, information on how to go about getting this stuff established. We've heard all about different things that were gonna go around the square, and then they went away. My son was at PC, so he was at Clinton, up in Clinton. And they had a little area, just like we have, that goes from the square, walks through, and goes out into the park lot in the back. They had all kinds of little things that were established in that. Little restaurants, little, just little neat places that were, it just made you want to go in there to look. And I don't see Darlington doing anything like that. I would like to see, and I know that there's probably, if they knew where to go, that there may be information from the Chamber of Commerce or whatever. But I've just seen so many, even the people that came in that was gonna open the little restaurant down here, and he started, renovating it, and then just got stopped. And I mean, I wanna see the city try to work with businesses to bring them down, because if they come in and they start doing something, and then somebody comes and says, well, you can't do that, we're not gonna let you do that, then they're not gonna go forward with it.
Bishopville's a little small town, a little strip there, okay? I looked at Bishopville before about putting a gym there, and I drove through and I thought, this is probably not good. I've gone back, we're fixing to put one in Bishopville. We're waiting for the guy to get all the stuff out of the building, so we're on a delay there, but as soon as he gets that out, we're getting ready to start Bishopville. Bishopville has a group that has formed, that has gone and bought so many buildings, okay? As a business owner, you're not gonna get a business to come in town and build something and spend as much money. I've been asked to build a gym other places, and I won't put a gym other places because no matter where I put a gym at, according to size, it takes you almost as much to put a gym, 6,000 square foot gym as it does a 20,000 square foot gym. It's about a little bit more equipment, a little bit more work, but you've got a lot of money going into that. So if you've got a Chick-fil-A, for example, or something of that nature that's building, no matter where they build, it's gonna cost them the same amount of money. And somebody's not gonna come into the middle of your town and build something knowing there's not a lot of population. So it's gonna be hard to get people to come in, whether it's a larger corporation or whether it's you and has had a business here for a while to come in and spend a lot of money downtown and say, I want to spend $300,000 or $400,000 downtown on a building and renovate it, hoping that you're gonna make your money back. So to me, what has to be done is that a group of some form has to be formed like they did in Bishopville and go downtown like they did and help renovate 3 or 4 buildings. To my understanding, that's what, one time that we talked with T.C. Sawyer with the Matthews Foundation, that's what they're willing to do. The city doesn't have the money to to do that. They don't have the money to buy a trash truck. So they're not coming out here and buy this building and renovate it to start it. My understanding that the city has the right to start tearing houses down and that people aren't taken care of, go through the right process of getting that, build houses on that, and own that house and make money back from it, where they can, the city of Darlington can go into business for itself to bring money back in, so that the city of Darlington can generate its own money. But is that you've got to have somebody that's willing to take at least three to four of these buildings around through the town here, and do them right, and rent them out. And then when you go and come into town, you see, just like I did walking through Bishopville, that's one thing that made me go to Bishopville. I walked into those stores and I was like, wow, somebody spent some money here. I guess I will too, you know? And so therefore, I'm willing to go spend money in Bishopville to put a gym in there, because I see that they're trying, that they are trying. There is starting to be growth there. And so therefore, as an outsider, I'm fixing to go into Bishopville and put my money in there, hoping that I'm gonna get my money back and maybe make a little bit of money as a business person. So that's, to me, what's gotta happen here is somebody's gotta start something. Some group's gotta say, let's buy this one, just like those where Cromer's building was. Those buildings all through there are some rough buildings, but they can be gutted out, that needs to be done and done correctly. And then you got this major parking lot in the back that can be used, but yet nobody advertises that parking lot as being available. So there's plenty of space there, but it's gonna take somebody to go in there and start that. So then, just like what you're talking about, other people will come along and they'll start putting nice, jewelry stores,
I
restaurants.
just wanna see the city
Right.
get behind
Right, but the city,
people
the
that
city,
are
right,
wanting
right,
to.
the city's got to invite them in and do everything that they can right this moment, so that we don't become a ghost town. The cities, and that's what happened in Bishopville. I walked into Bishopville, and I've been into other towns. I'm not gonna name the other towns. I've been to other towns, and it's like, you gotta do all this, you gotta do all, and I understand that, all things need to be done right. But Bishopville, when I walked to Bishopville, they're like, man, great, good to see you, thank you for coming, wow, somebody's coming in to help. And they make me feel like I'm this major, they make me feel like I'm Chick-fil-A or McDonald's walking into town, and I've got all this money, and here's Fitness World coming in, and we're so glad to have you, and they're rolling the red carpet out, and they're doing everything they can to help you. And I know I've heard that a lot here, where we can't do this, we can't do that. Just like with the movie theater, I've talked about a few people about that, well, it's so old, it's so bad. I don't care. I don't have, if we're gonna do it, rip it out from front to back. That's part of what needs to be done, and redo it.
I work in the town of Page.
Downtown in Lake City, if you ride down in Lake City in Florence, you ride by and look at the building, you go, there's a front, and there's a back, and there's two walls, and there's a ground. The roof's gone, everything inside's gone, they just gutted it, and they're just leaving the shell of it to make it look the same, and then they're going back and putting all new in. And that may be what has to be done with a lot of these buildings, I'm sure, that they've sat there for the years they have to bring them back to the code to make it right. But to me, that's what needs to be started, and the city, I agree with you 100%, the city needs to say, go out and look for somebody, a group, whether it's the Matthews Foundation or some other group that's out there that's willing to help us to do that. And it takes that money to do that, somebody with a vision and backing to say, let's make it change. And start with a few. And that's what they did. They started with a few, and then they advertise out, and they're trying to get more in. So other individuals will come in and actually put money into the city.
The town of Pageland is where I work now. They have the little town of Pageland, with hardly any restaurants at all, has a single screen movie theater. And I see cars out there every night that I work. They're lined up down the street going to their movie theater in Pageland. And if Pageland, as small as it is, can have a movie theater that is used by its citizens, I think Darlington would be too.
Right. And it just, there's only room there for one screen. But my viewpoint of it is you could have a 3:30 time, a 4 o'clock movie for kids, and a 6 o'clock movie, and a 9 o'clock movie, and a 12 o'clock movie, and show 4 different shows. To where there's constant activity down there. Then if there's constant activity down there, then you don't think Joe's will open up at midnight? If they know there's people here, Joe's will open up here, Joe's will open up at midnight, and somebody else will come open up, and there'll be somewhere for them to go. Takis is going to stay open to midnight. Todd will open up to midnight. They'll start opening up for people to come in if they know there's activity down there. We walk down throughout the middle of the night, and we can walk down the middle of the street, and there's nothing going on.
I'd be lucky to see somebody.
And why over the years, I've talked with Mr. Stone yesterday, the other day, and he was talking about how there used to be a Coca-Cola plant here. You know, what's happened to all of the years when there was stuff here, why over the, that's what I said, it's not our mayor's fault. It's not our city council's fault. There's something that's happened over years of time that has caused all these places to leave. Why did they leave? You know, I understand
Well,
that
I'm
Belks,
glad
I
to
understand that
see-
Belks left because, you know, times changed, that wasn't big enough for Belks. But then why, when they got ready to leave, why didn't you say, please, come on, man, let's just, we'll give you this piece of property or do something, you know, no taxes at all to stay here, something. What can we do to, you know, and maybe there is nothing we could have done, I don't know. But there's somewhere along the line, what's happened over the years.
Well, I'm glad to see Dave and Cindy, because when we talk about Darlington, we're not just talking about the citizens that live in Darlington, in the city. I mean, people in the county
That's
will
why,
come into
that's why I invited
Darlington.
everybody, that's
to-
why I'm
to
here.
do something.
That's why I'm here. Yeah.
I mean, now, if you need some ideas, we would love to have a Chick-fil-A here. Sonic, we would love that. Dairy Queen, what'd you say, Bethany? Dairy Queen?
I like a Blizzard.
And we'd all love to have that. But see, that's what I'm saying is that Dairy Queen's not gonna, Dairy Queen is built in Florence. Why they built in Florence? Because they built where there's a lot of people, because it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of money to
There's
run
so
this, it takes a lot of money to run this building right here with 3 or 4 employees.
Right.
You know, and so you imagine what it takes to run a business like that with all the employees they have in there. It takes a lot of money going in and out the door. And,
No, we don't have to have a Dairy Queen. We can have somebody in our community that opens an ice cream shop on the square that has the same type of things as a Dairy Queen. I think Darlington should grow small. I don't want to live in Florence. If I did, I would move to Florence. I don't want big places around here. I want small
well,
businesses.
what I'm saying is that Chick-fil-A, Dairy Queen, they're never gonna come downtown.
Oh,
At least,
no,
and what people need to realize is that you can open a mom and pop per se, candy store, ice cream parlor and all.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
But it's gotta be done really right and nice, to where people will come to it. It's gotta be run correctly. And they still will come to that, and Dairy Queen can still open out on the bypass and still have the bypass full of commercialized, large business out there. That they'll never come down here because there's not room for them down here. But what needs to be done through here and all the way down, you know, from here down to my gym, from here all the way out to Walmart, and around the square and out to Castle Street, just what I call the T section right here, are over 50 to 60 empty buildings. I count lots and stuff that either need to be tore down or either renovated, that are empty, besides the ones that are here trying to make it. And so, to me, I agree with you 100%. The city needs to be open arms to it. Chamber of Commoners needs to be open arms to it, and I don't see that. I have not seen that since I've been here, that they don't come out and welcome you. What can we do? This is incentives that we have. Just glad to have you here. You know, it's
That goes a
smile,
long way.
a smile.
It does.
Train hard, pick up her, smile and change someone's day. It's my motto. Just a smile, knowing that, you know, I got support. You know, like I said, we went to Bishopville, and, you know, I'm nervous when I go into places. Okay, I've opened a lot of business, but I'm like, oh, are they going, because people, some towns will make you jump through all kind of hoops to get there, and you're trying everything you can to not spend and waste any more money than you gotta waste. And a lot of places will make you waste all kind of, you know, go through all kind of regulations that are just foolish regulations, that they will try to make you do. And then, like I said, I went to Bishopville, and they're just glad to see and more than willing to help you to get into the facility. And that's what we need here in the town is almost like, and again, you know, there's only 1 or 2 people in each division, and so that person can't do everything. But as citizens, what can we do? Could we ask for ambassadors to come in and say, help us? I know in Hartsville, I talked with them over there, and they have ambassadors that go around and visit all the businesses from the Chamber of Commerce. They're not paid, they're free people. That's their part of their volunteer work to help. Go out and check the businesses and see what's needed to be done.
Well, the
That's
Garden
great.
Club has done a
Right.
wonderful job around
Right.
the square.
Right.
And even at the entrances, like out on 401. There are people here that are willing to give their time and their effort
Right.
to better it. But they, you know, everybody wants to know that what they're doing is making a difference, and I just think we need to be more, willing to extend that hand out and say, you know, y'all are doing a really good job. It's just, as a business owner, I know that it does make a difference when, you know, people appreciate you. And they show that by using your service or using your, you know, your establishment. And there's gonna be places that will be willing to open if, and, you know, I'm like David, we all like to see Darlington grow. So I would think, you know, even people in the county, if they had an opportunity to come here and do some shopping instead of going to Florence, because, you know, you talk about every time you open a new place in Florence, it takes away from somewhere else that was in Florence. A new eating establishment, you've still got the same amount of people.
Right.
They all take a little more piece of the pie.
Right.
So down here, you got a bigger pie. Over in Florence, you've got a smaller pie, even though there's more people. Here, there's more of an opportunity to draw more people, because everybody goes to wherever it's new at first. But it's, you know, you also see places in Florence going out of business, because especially downtown, some of the local restaurants and all that were down there have closed up, or they've changed hands or something like that. So, I mean, that's something we need to sell in Darlington. We don't have a whole lot of diversity.
Right.
So, you know, you put a hamburger joint on the square, you don't really have a whole lot of competition there.
And people in Darlington that are here need to support it.
That's right.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will support it, because even on Facebook, you'll see a lot of people talking about their old days where they went to Central Drugstore, got a hamburger, went here, got a hamburger. Candy Kitchen that was up here on the corner where they went up here and got candy and all kinds of different things, you know. People on that Facebook is still living in the past, and they're saying in their heart they wish Darlington was back that way.
Well, maybe when they build our new courthouse and tear down this block in the middle, we can put something out there that would draw people, picnic tables and chairs and umbrellas and places to sit and congregate and socialize. And then use the places that are around the square to go get something to eat and come sit out there and have a meal when they tear it down.
Is it for sure that they are?
They don't know what they're doing. They had their meetings, but they have no plans to let the public know anything else about that project, is what they were said in the last meeting. They were just getting our input, but they have no plans to spread out any more information about it. So, I have to wait and see.
They don't know where they're gonna build it?
Well, it'll be, they want to move it out of, there has been talk by a county councilman of moving it out of Darlington. Now, legally, they can. They only have to keep like 2 services within the county seat, which is maybe the magistrate or the court and something else, the clerk of court and something else has to be in the city. But they can technically take everything else out of that courthouse and move it to Hartsville. They can move it to the land beside the sheriff's department. They can do that, and that is an option. One of the county councilmen asked for the parameters of what has to stay and what can be moved out at the December county council meeting, I believe. Now, I think that renovating this block we have up here is probably not as much on the table, because it would have to be gutted and it would cost so much money that you could take that money and add a little bit more to it and build a new facility right there where they tore down the dry cleaners, is what the counties purchased that piece of property to build, if they decide to keep it in the city limits of Darlington. So, but when we asked, you know, will there be another meeting to let us know an update, they said they have no plans for that. So they were just they had those 4 or 5 meetings to get the public's input, and then they were going to make their decisions. So, and they have to have, apparently all the plans and the company that they paid to, Mr. Arrington paid to have come in and do all these plans, they're not going to use those. they want to start from scratch all over again and pay another company to come in and do, how much this will cost, how much that'll cost, and how much moving it will cost. So I'm sure it'll be a while.
Any input?
Just soaking it all in.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's help. This is just a start, so that's where we're trying to start. And we're gonna meet every third Saturday of the month and,
When's your next meeting?
third Saturday of February.
Third Saturday, February? And it'll be up here at 10 a.m.?
Yes, and the website's up, got up last week. We'll start adding more to that. We'll add your video to it each week.
What's the website's name?
Curtis Boyd for FOR, curtisboyd4mayor.com.
It's February 17th.
February 17th at 10 a.m. up here at the Out of This World screen printing. Okay.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I just, one of the things that, and I'm sure it's already been said, that, I'd love to see to come from this, no matter what happens, is that, we all get on board and work together and form some consensus moving forward, concentrating on the things that do work and have worked, and, put our efforts into that and bicker a whole lot less. I'd love to see that.
There's gonna be disagreements, but like I said, we need to look and see what's best for the city, not what's best for my race or your race, or my gender or your gender, or my side of town or your side of town. It needs to be what's best for all of us, and help everybody.
Well, I think with a 10-year plan too, it will also help people see, well, hey, they might be doing this right now, but this is coming up next, and
Right.
10-year plans are ever evolving. They change all the time, but at least you've got something for people to look at
Right.
and kind of see that Curtis has got to do this, this, and this. That might not seem right now, but this is what he's working for. And that's the end goal, and that's what we're concerned about, so.
Well, every trip that you take, you should have a destination in mind.
That's right.
And, it's just like putting a big ship on the ocean and saying, okay, just go that way. And, sometimes a lot of cities, that's what they do. They just keep going one direction. They don't really have a plan, and I agree with that a lot. Certainly, to a great degree, we do need a plan to, someplace that we'd like to be, someplace we'd like to go, and at a very minimum, at least you have a rough idea of where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of, well, we're just going that way just doesn't really work.
And I think people can get behind you, Curtis, if they know where you're going.
Right.
It's hard to get behind somebody and you don't know where you're headed.
Right.
So I think when you get in,
you have 2
Well,
years.
I don't know if anybody else has started 2 years in advance, so that's why we're starting now to see what we can get steamrolling ahead before I actually get in there. Yeah, 2019 is when the vote would be, so it'll be 2020 before
What a good deal.
there's a change.
Well, I think we need to encourage people from the county to also be part of this.
Right.
Yeah.
So that, because just the ones in Darlington will not be the ones that will
We
be
need
supporting
as
this.
much footwork as we can to open the doors to the other 82% of the people that are just complacent, that think everything's okay, or don't think they can make a change, or what it is they're thinking. Why are they not coming out to vote when they have the right to vote? They should come out and place a vote for whoever they want to vote for. Wait the doors, shake the doors, get them open. And we need, if you're inside the city or outside the city, I need that support to get everybody awake. So make sure everybody knows that Jesus loves you.